Some gentleman got a film of one after the fire over there. And I saw it on a camera. Trees, kind of a gray shadow, I don't know, probably dirt and more trees. And in the middle of it, a little brown spot. And when the gentleman brought the picture up with the spot, it was a huge Bigfoot. Not unusual in that area. It's remote, they're a small town, they do a lot of wood cutting and things like that. And they've seen casts or footprints a lot more than they've ever seen a Bigfoot. But he was in the woods, he wasn't anywhere near a town or anything.
How far is this from here?
Oh, I would say about 3 hours drive.
3 hours drive?
Yeah, it's not remote, but the roads probably have rocks and things like that. You go to Iron Mountain this way, I think through whatever. And then there's a big sign that says Iron Mountain. And you just go and it goes to Heim Palm.
High Palm.
Yeah, they're just country towns.
So this is the cast. Which one's the cast?
They're all cast. I think there's only one that might not be. I don't know which one it is. Not found by St. Larry Orchid, it says that's an Indian, so I wouldn't doubt that, they've seen them. In fact, the Indians have seen them a lot. That's Patterson's film over there that he filmed. Anyway, when he got the film, he came in and told Al at the dime, Al had a dime store.
Yeah.
And told him that he had got the film. He was really excited about it. But he was also a rodeo rider, and he was a jokester. So he did not think that anybody would believe him, that he had got the picture. But it's never been discredited. Even the Russians took it for a while, the original film. Yeah. And it was never discredited. So make yourself to home and do your thing.
Thank you.
I've had a lot of people that have had encounters almost, or whatever you want to say. Search and rescue from Oregon came down, said they were looking for a 4-year-old lost in the woods. This was maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't find him the first night, but the next day they found him sitting alongside the road. And when they picked him up, all he could talk about was the big hairy man that picked him up, brought him down, sat him alongside the road. And they thought enough that it might be a Bigfoot that they came in and told me about it. Wow. So just, gray-haired gentleman said, there's a flume. I don't know if you know where the flume is. If you go I-5, you cross the flume, the water goes into LA. Yeah. Anyway, he said, as a kid, and he had to be 60, 70 years old, and he said, as a kid, they had a farm along the flume. And during the winter, the Bigfoot migrated through along the flume just like the deer did. And I would have no doubt. Why wouldn't I believe him? He wasn't making up any stories or anything.
Why we had to lie?
Yeah. And I know 2 people actually that have seen it, but not for a long time. 40 years, 50 years. In old days, 30s and 40s. Everybody fished up here on the Klamath. My dad had a garage station along the road. And we just fished in Northern California for steelhead and salmon. Anyway, about the same time I have a friend whom I did not know then, but they camped along the river too, and a kid had a bike. And he was riding a bike up to camp, and a small Bigfoot followed him up. I would absolutely believe. Anyway, she saw it, nobody else did. She would not talk about it for years. Al Hodgson knew that she had seen it. But she would, even if she met me, she probably wouldn't talk about it. Now, Paulides arrived maybe 3-4 years ago, did the Hoopah project, which he talked for 3 years off and on to all Indians, anybody he could get, and he paid them, of course, at Hoopah to tell their stories on their encounters with the Bigfoot. So, and that lady that I said saw it is also, her statement is in there, and you have to swear that you're not telling fibs or anything like that to get into the book in the first place. And she is in that book. So I don't doubt what.
Wow.
And I know a lady out here that's got a grocery store. Years and years and years ago, and I suppose when she's a lot younger, she and her mother were hunting and they saw one. So.
Is it just, are they here year-round, you would say, or they migrate?
I think they're in the area. I think Al never thought that they migrated, but I think they come down out of the snow and stuff looking for food. I've got a friend whose son was eeling. He's white, but the Indians were eeling. He and the Indians were eeling at Ishipishi Falls, which is upriver. And he said they were looking for eels, and when he looked up, there was one on the road up above watching them. And I said, so are they curious or are they just waiting to get something to eat? I would think probably they migrate down to where they can get food. And then in the summertime, apples are ripe in September. Oh, years ago, I don't know how many years, a family came through, coming down 96, which is here, said that they saw one cross the road in front of them, but it went into an apple orchard where the apples were ripe.
Picking apples.
Yeah,
Picking
anything
apples.
to eat, absolutely.
Wow.
National Geographic filmed, time goes by so fast, 4, 5, 6 years ago maybe, here. And they were doing all their thing, you know, not necessarily talking to anybody that had seen Bigfoot, but they did all this stuff for television and whatnot. Anyway, there was a man and lady camped at Aikens Creek, which is up above, what would it be, above where the Trinity and the Klamath come together, upriver at Aikens Creek. And she said that when they got up in the morning, there was a 17-inch track, which is a big one. And I'd heard before that one might have been seen there. That's where a creek comes into the river. But I had a friend, that I call him a Trekkie because they're always out looking, and they drove up one afternoon when it was really hot. And he said when they drove up, they heard branches cracking like something was walking off, and all the ferns under the trees were laid down like something had been there laying along the creek to cool off. So it's a possibility because it's all in the same area.
That's true.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's very, I wouldn't think that, you know, maybe in the woods, although my husband hunted every place, but of course he never believed in Bigfoot. And you might see one, but it's highly unlikely. And of course the most popular place is up at where Patterson filmed. But you can't get in the wintertime. But it's now a big campground-like thing, and you can get there in the summertime.
Summertime.
Yeah, and you know, people just go there. I think there's probably, you know, things around that tell you what it's there for and when he did it and all that. He filmed in 1967, so that's quite a while ago. And Al had tracks in '63, I believe, before Patterson filmed. So, yeah, it's 50, 60
There's
years.
a scenic route. We take that route now. Is
90,
that, yeah.
96? Sure,
96?
you can, right here on the corner, just go and it takes you through
Hopa.
and upriver. Yeah, and you'll come to Bluff Creek.
Bluff Creek.
There's a bridge at Bluff Creek, but I don't think you can get in the winter time.
Yeah.
That they have it blocked off because there's a Port Orford disease and it gets on the tires and then it spreads to the elms and other places.
Oh.
So, but you could certainly get into Aikens Creek.
Aikens
Creek.
Creek.
There's a campground at Aikens Creek too. And there's a store right at the, where the two rivers come together, Billy Pearson's store. I mean, you know, it's just a general store and whatnot. You can go all the way, I think, to into Oregon if you go far enough.
What's your name? What's your name?
Mine? Peggy.
Peggy?
Just
Okay.
McWilliams. Yeah, no, I come because I talk Bigfoot. I
Yeah.
talk a lot, actually.
Do you mind if I put this on YouTube or no?
I don't care.
Okay, I'll put you on there.
Okay.
Um,
I'm in Paris, France. I'm in Canada.
Yeah.
And Japan came in. Only one could understand English. Some. And we spent about 3 hours going through here. And I'm in all the films because I'm telling them about what all this stuff is.
Yeah.
Oh, criminy.
Yeah. So this is Bob Gimlin, right?
I don't think so. Is it Bob? I think it's
No, this is photo track.
Crew, Jerry Crew,
Derry Crew.
or Cruz.
Art
I
Cruz.
think it's Jerry Cruz.
Patterson Film.
Let's see,
location.
by John Green. Oh, well, no, that's not John Green. The book is by John Green.
Okay, so that's a picture of Bob Gimlin right there.
No, I think it's Jerry Crew. I can't read it that close up.
This is courtesy of
Yeah, that's
Patricia Patterson. Copyright Patricia Patterson.
okay. That's the book. That's probably the film. I don't know who it is. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. That was a 2003 symposium. Absolutely phenomenal. And John Green too was really big in a Bigfoot. Still is, but now he's in his 90s, so he doesn't come out.
So all the they got the like the small children type, and they'll migrate through here. And then why do you think they hang around this area?
I don't think they're only here, they're everywhere. There's almost every state in the union, not Hawaii, of course.
Not Hawaii,
but
but
almost even Ohio has Bigfoot in Ohio.
Yeah.
And Florida's got the swamp ape.
The swamp, yeah.
Yeah, There's a lot of places. In Colorado, I talk to the deer hunters that come in, or they hunt elk in Colorado. And 3 out of 4 of them will say that they've had an encounter with one, just one watching them. And you don't ever put a gun on them. They can, so they say. I don't know if it's true or not. They could be violent if you draw a gun on them. But they will stand and watch you. And one gentleman said he didn't know what it was going to do, so he stood still, and he said it began to walk. And then he said, "Is it going to come around behind me?" And he said, so he just stood still, and pretty soon it just walked off. But they're big. They're not. And there are encounters with small ones sometimes.
Small ones.
So it's just I would not expect to see one, but you would never know.
Yeah, I just.
There's a lot of people too, all summer long,
Yeah.
and all the time looking for them. If I can think of his name. Oh yeah, right. Okay. Oh.